Our form is, for the most part, finished and almost ready to go. Currently, however, it has nowhere to go anywhere. A well-structured and designed form is useless without a submit button. Submit buttons are specialized form elements that tell the form to take the data that it's collected and send it to the processing page. To finish the initial construction of our form, we're going to insert a submit button. So again, I have the join.html file open, this time from the 1211 Explorers directory, and scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, and you'll find the last form element we placed on the page, which is the text area. I'm going to place my cursor directly after that and hit return to create a brand new paragraph. Okay, I am going to go up to my insert panel, and almost dead in the middle of the insert panel is a button. Notice it is not labeled as a submit button. It's just labeled as a button. Kind of looks like a chiclet, one of those little pieces of gum? Kind of looks like that. Go ahead and click on that to insert it. And again, our input tag accessibility attributes come up. Well, for ID, I'm going to type in submit. But for this, I don't want any label tag. And look at that. Dreamweaver, it's almost like it can read my mind. Why did it know to do that? Well, submit buttons don't need a label beside them. You're going to have some text on the button that instructs the user as to what's going to happen when the button gets pressed, so you don't really need a label on it. We are going to give it a tab index, however, and this time we're going to give it a tab index of 260. So we're going to go ahead and click OK, and there's our submit button. That was so easy. Now select it, and we'll take a look at some of the properties that we can change. First, the button name, that's the ID that we gave it, and we're going to leave that. But for the value, I'm going to type in join the explorers. So this can say anything you want it to say. So make it so, submit, click here, click me, send an email, whatever you want it to say. It's a good idea to make it a little descriptive, though. And if you want to put a little oomph into it so people get excited about clicking it, well, there's nothing wrong with that either. Now, you will notice out beside that we have 3 radio buttons that tell this button what it should do. It's submit form, reset form, and none. Submit form does exactly what you think it does. It collects all of the form data that's been filled in that form up to that point and sends it to either the processing script or the processing page, wherever it's supposed to send that information. Reset the form is basically going to take all of the form elements that have already been filled out, and it's going to clear them out. You may have seen some forms in the past that have the ability to reset the form. I'm not very high on that, because if somebody hits them by mistake, the chances of them going back up and filling out all that information again is pretty remote. So I really don't like the whole clear form thing. Personal choice, though. And then finally, we have none. Now, the none option, that may seem kind of strange, but what that does is it simply strips out any default actions on this particular button. That's going to allow you to go in and, through the use of JavaScript or some of the behaviors that Dreamweaver has, assign a different action to that button, such as navigation or something along those lines. So there you go. Our form is almost finished. There are just a few more things to do. We need to give the user the ability to pick a username and a password for the site. And obviously, we need to address the styling of our form, because it is still not a good-looking thing. Although it's functional, it's not even close to being good-looking. But to make it fit the design of our site a little bit better, and to help with the visual usability, which is just as important as the structural usability, we'll use cascading style sheets to restyle our form and form elements, and we'll do that next.